Hi and welcome to Vindicast number 7. I am very excited today to bring you a game between TLO, one of my favorite foreign players, and PandaTank. This is submitted as part of the TLO replay pack that was submitted on Team Liquid earlier this week. I was given permission by one of the admins up there to do this cast, and so hopefully it'll be a good game. Alright, so down here in the bottom left of the map, Korhal Compound, we have our red Zerg player, Game of Drones, or Team Liquid's TLO. And in the top right, we have the blue Protoss player, PandaTank. I'm not actually sure who PandaTank is exactly. I'm assuming that this is a game off of Ladder because it's on TLO's alt account, Game of Drones. It's a really cool name for a Zerg player, by the way. I had it as part of my signature for Team Liquid for a long time. So I've been a fan of TLO or Dario for quite a while now. I became a fan of his first in the beta when he was still playing random as just the little one, and he went up against, I think it was Liquid Nazgul. It was somebody on Team Liquid, I think. It was a big game where he was playing Terran and his opponent was Protoss, that involved like all sorts of things, like going all the way up to battlecruiser tech. And then like later in beta, I got to see him do I think it was a crazy like battlecruiser rush against Zerg. And he also had some pretty good games as Zerg back then too, but I didn't really understand the race the way that I do now, so I wasn't able to appreciate them quite as well. He's always been a very creative player though. He was known for originally for coming up with like brand new like wonky builds, and that was like his real strength. And as the metagame has started to develop a little bit, he's kind of fallen out of like that super top tier, just because like the depth of strategies that are available now are kind of understood, and because like the game has become like more revolved around like set like a few central strategies per matchup. It's really kind of taken a lot of the fire out of creative players and really just started to make it so that mechanically sound players are the ones that really like flourish. We also have like the rise of extreme micro players like Marine King Prime, who have been able to utilize that aspect of StarCraft to really like step up their game. But that's not to say that Dario is still not a terrific player. He's still like one of my favorite foreigner players. His switch to Zerg hasn't shaken that for me at all. Alright, so we do have the Forge fast expand with the Nexus going down right after the Forge from the Protoss player. TLO is going to be removing this pylon, going to be throwing out a hatchery right after that. The one big question that always comes up after this is, how did the Zerg supposed to respond to this pylon pressure? Are they going to plant down a fast third hatchery, which is something they could easily do, especially since he knows that his opponent's going to be Forge fast expanding? Is he going to drop down a fast third, or is he going to drop down a Roach Warren and start putting on some pressure? Either one works. They're both pretty standard in this matchup. Because you know that your opponent is going for this Forge fast expand, it pretty much like guarantees that you're going to be unharassed for quite a while. And any harassment that does come, you'll be able to see coming. He already has these Zergling scouts out here, so if he does want to move out with Zealots or Stalkers, he'll be more than ready for it. We have the gases going down for the Protoss player before this Nexus is even finished. This is an interesting place to put the Cybernex square. I kind of like it. We are up to 23 drones, and it does look like our Zerg player does want to take a third base. We have this drone coming down here. He's probably going to be plopping down that third there. Alright, like I've said in my previous Vindicast that I did on this particular map, it was actually another Zerg versus Protoss. It was that crazy build that involved like motherships and carriers, if you guys have seen that one. Not quite the highest level game that I've ever seen, but it was interesting in its own way. But as I was saying in that cast, one of the key factors about this map is the layout of the third, and the fact that you can approach the third from two directions, from the left and from the right, and the fact that the third also is on a low ground, which makes it vulnerable to siege tanks, Colossus, and all sorts of other little surprises that could come from down on top of the cliff. So it's probably the Protoss player is probably going to be attempting to scout this third base, as it is a logical follow-up to the way that he opened with the Forge Fast Expand and the Pylon block. We have +1 weapons coming down for the Protoss already, so no robotics facility just yet, even though he does have the gas. So this could be leading into some kind of gateway timing. Yeah, we got 2 more gates coming down here, but are we going to be seeing a robotics facility? That's the one big question. You really want to get a robotics facility out for either roaches or immortals to counter roach timings, or for observers at the very least to get, if you're trying to play more of a passive game. But we do have a 4th gateway coming down here. So there it is. Okay, so this is a Twilight Council with 4 gateways. He's probably going to be dropping down additional gateways after that. This is probably going to be some sort of big gateway timing push, probably with Blink, or not Charge, because Charge is very uncommon in this matchup. So it's probably going to be some kind of Blink timing attack with +1, and because he has that Twilight Council down, it'll allow him to get the upgraded +2 weapons pretty quick. We have a Proxy Pylon going down over here. Zealot taking control of the map. This probe is going to scout this 3rd if after he plates this pylon here. I'm pretty sure he's going to move down and scout this 3rd if he doesn't know about it already. He doesn't know about it, but I think he can assume that that 3rd's there. So we do have the gateways down. TLO does scout this Twilight Council. I have a lair coming up here. The Roachborn is done, but there are no speed for the roaches just yet, or haven't even started yet. Blink hasn't started though either, so I don't think this attack is going to be coming right away. I think he's got a little bit of time. Oh, we've got a Dark Shrine coming up too. Alright, so this is going to be interesting. It might not be a Blink build after all. It might just be that he's going for a fast, like, DT with gateway pressure. This is not something I usually see in this matchup very much. It doesn't mean that it's not effective. It could be effective. It all depends on how TLO wants to respond. There are no Spore Crawlers down yet. Does he have an Evolution Chamber? He should. He does have an Evolution Chamber. And the lair is almost done though too, so he will get the Spore Crawlers in a little bit. That Overlord kill has supply blocked the Zerg player. But our Protoss player is almost supply blocked himself because of the destruction of these proxy pylons. He can't reinforce anything just yet. TLO scouted this. He doesn't know about the Dark Shrine. Alright, well, these Stalkers are going to be driven out. Those Zerglings are in a good position to flank these Stalkers and kill off his remaining forces on the ground, which is going to slow down this push timing considerably. Protoss was trying to hit some very careful timing with Dark Templar, and that's going to screw up everything right now. Okay, so he's just starting Blink after those have been eliminated. So he's going to buy time for this Blink timing with these Dark Templar, but how many drones or what kind of tech is he going to be able to snipe with them? He only has a limited amount of time to start dealing damage before Overseers enter the field because we do have a lair down. And a 2nd Evolution Chamber coming down. Alright, so that's going to reveal the Dark Templar to him, so how is he going to respond to this? Overseers are starting up right now, but how many drone kills are these Dark Templar going to get?
Our drones are under attack.
He's going to be getting another Queen too. Okay, the Overseers are out. They're going to be catching these Dark Templar. He does get the 2nd Evolution Chamber, so that is going to slow down our Zerg's upgrades a little bit. The rest of the Dark Templar have been removed. Alright, so how did our Protoss player do? He is up by 4 probes on 2 bases, so his saturation is not as good, or his saturation is better than our Zerg's, but he might be oversaturated at this point. He needs a 3rd. Or he may just be looking to go for a big timing attack. That is a lot of gateways. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10 gateways? Is that 10 gateways? No, it's 9 gateways. Alright, so he's going to have Blink, and he's going to have +3 with this. So this is going to be a +3 Blink Stalker attack. This is pretty all in. With this many gates, if he plans on using all these gates with this much production, that is going to be a pretty all-in-ish attack. Our Zerg player is taking a 4th base. He is massing up a good number of Zerglings and Roaches to, for this attack, but we also have an Archon going down too. more Dark Templar, more Zealots. This is going to be a big attack. I really don't think that our Protoss player has any interest in taking a third base behind us, and even if he does, TLO is going to be ready for it. He already has Overlords over here. I can assume that those are going to be used for some sort of transport play later, but he does have a Zergling watching for the third base. Okay, so here we go. Protoss player is moving out. That's not too scary of an army just yet, but as we already know with Protoss, they can warp in additional units anytime they want. You have a 10th gate going down here, so this is, yeah, I'm pretty convinced at this point this is an all-in move from our Protoss player. He doesn't want to deal with higher tech units just yet, and he already has invested a lot of gas into this, so he's not going to have Colossus later. But we don't have Hydralisks out. Hydralisks are really what you're going to want for this kind of army. We just have Roaches, so if the Protoss player's Blink play is really that good, he actually can do a lot of damage to this attack. We have more Roaches coming down for TLO. He is almost maxed on Roaches. Alright, we got the Blink forward, aggressive Blink. He's pushing over on this side. The pylons are getting shut down on this side, though. The removal of these pylons is actually a really big deal. He wants to reinforce closer to the base. He was jockeying, trying to get position over here, trying to draw the army towards his while he was able to warp in on this side and potentially deny this fourth base, but TLO has already been able to position himself in such a way where he's defended it. He's had just enough troops just to give this army pause because he doesn't want to lose this whole thing, and he has the rest of his troops over on this side to block for those potential pylons. So we are going to have a big warp in on just this side, and he's only going to be able to reinforce from one side, and the entire army is going to be coming down here in one big blob. So we're going to have the other troops that are going to be coming in. They're going to be able to get a nice surround on this army. Aggressive Blink forwards. Minecrawlers are going down. The Stalkers are in the front. The Zealots are in the back, but the Zealots are in a perfect place to deny the Zerglings that are coming in right now. But we have the Protoss army completely surrounded. Blink Micro is not going to be that good here. These +3 upgrades, especially with these Archons, are doing a lot of damage to the Zerg units, but there are just a lot of Roaches here. And these Roaches do have +2 armor, and there are no armor upgrades on those Stalkers at all. They are extremely fragile right now. And like I said earlier, if the Blink play is good, he actually can destroy this, but he's just he could be a lot more cost efficient than this. But that still is a lot of Stalkers, and he is going to be able to reinforce more on this point. But there's Infestors out too. He's still managing to kill a lot with this, but TLO's on 4 bases. He's got 4 hatcheries just pumping out Roaches. I don't think that he's going to be able to kill him with just Blink Stalkers. We got another warp in of units coming in. Aggressive Blink forward is going to kill more Roaches, but he is rallying them back. He's probably going to give up this base, and he's going to rally up more troops together because he wants to crush this army. If he can kill all these gateway units at one point, he will have won this match. Coming forward. Stalkers are blinking back a little bit. They are actually being a little more cost effective this time. Clears out that round of units. We have a photon cannon being built up here. That's actually interesting. That's going to prevent just a few Zerglings from denying this forward pylon. That's a really nice move. I like that he put that forward pylon there. We got more Blink Stalkers coming in from here. He's actually doing really, really well with this. I'm not quite sure where all of TLO's forces are. He does have a lot of money, but he's not actually making very much with them. So he is pulling drones. He's getting a lot of drone kills in there, but he is losing a lot of Stalkers. Alright, he lost a lot of drones, but he is running out of Stalkers at this point. The Protoss player cannot really reinforce from this. His main is completely mined out. He has to make the most out of this army, while TLO is still pretty much mining off of 3 bases. That 4th hatchery does go down, but like I said already, this Protoss army is pretty much all he has. He can't take this. He can't take this base, not yet anyway. Alright, we've got more Stalkers coming down, moving into the 3rd. There's a Spine Crawler here, but there's not that many Roaches there. Going around on a flank. There's none on this side, though. Alright, the Roaches are going to come in here. They are going to deny this forward pylon. Oh, the Stalkers just get there in time to push these Roaches back. most out of these. We got 27 stalkers out on the field, but we got a couple of them over on this side. We have the Protoss distance mining. This is going to prolong this attack a little bit longer than it would normally. TLO's is trying to buy time to get some infestors out. He really needs one or two good fungal growths on this army. Oh, we have a couple more Dark Templar left in here. I haven't been paying attention, but does he still have any Overseers left, or has he sniped all of them? There are no Overseers left. TLO's lost all of his Overseers and all of his fighting. He has nothing for those Dark Templars. Where did he warp those in? Oh, he warped them over on this side to help defend against this counterattack. We have kind of a semi-base trade scenario going on here. Alright, so a lot of these drones are going to get killed. But we do have stalkers over here in the natural doing a lot of damage to this base. We have TLO massing up for a defense at the top of his ramp with these infestors and zerglings, and he is bringing back all of his roaches. He is going to try and kill this whole army off. We have about four fungal growths in those infestors if they don't get sniped first. There goes one. The stalker's going down. The roaches are just getting here. We have a flank coming from the other side, and fungal growths are going off on this whole army. I think this is it. I think the Protoss player is going to lose all of his troops here. He just needs one more good fungal growth on this to be able to clear the rest of this up. There's not many stalkers left. He is putting down another nexus. He is almost completely mined out of his natural. All the number of probes he has here at this point is really meaningless. But TLO has taken a lot of damage in all of this fighting. He is mining off of only one base as well. He only has 2 hatcheries at this point. He has to make the most out of this army as he can as well. We have more units warping out on this side, but TLO is going around to the other side. We got Archons being warped in the mix too. That's probably a good idea right now because he's only going to be able to get away with that Dark Templar trick once. Okay, we have more units coming down into this third base. This is TLO's only mining base. Archons are getting into the mix now too. There are not a lot of roaches here. He is taking a lot of damage. Those stalkers are taking a lot of damage from these roaches, but he doesn't have enough here to hold this base by itself. He needs to bring back the remainder of his troops. Drones are being pulled. TLO's going for it, but those drones are getting massacred by that Archon. So TLO is not mining anymore. The Zerg has no more drones left. He has 7 drones left. But he does still have this one active army. The Protoss isn't mining either. He's lost almost all of his probes in TLO's counterattack, so it's really just going to come down to who can win in this final army engagement. That photon cannon is in the mix. He's warping in a couple more Dark Templar. There's Dark Templar in there. But I don't think it's gonna matter. There are just too many roaches in here. He has to bring up an Overseer. Does he still have an Overseer left? He doesn't have an Overseer. Oh, this is so unbelievably close. We have 5 Zerglings, 14 roaches, and 14 roaches. I guess we have more that I haven't seen somewhere. Alright, he is bringing up the remainder of these troops. They are going to be able to clear out all the stalkers, but what is he going to do about these Dark Templar? He does have an Overseer left, so where is it? Where is that Overseer? I don't know though. I think that might be checkmate. Okay, that was checkmate. That was intense. Wow, that was really intense. These guys were going, like, doing so many different things over and over again at a time. Okay, I think the decision to go all in after that initial Dark Templar opening, I think that in hindsight that might have been a little ill-advised, but against a different player, I think that may have worked, and I think that does work for this Protoss player a lot. That attack was really strong, and he did a lot of damage with it, but TLO's defense was just too good. That initial denying of those forward pylons on this side of the map gave him a lot of time to... He bought himself a lot of time to almost completely max out on his troops and never really let the Protoss get to a super scary high supply army. He kept him at mid-supply, and he always had a supply advantage throughout that entire time. And the Protoss did a great job also utilizing Dark Templar even after his armies had been destroyed. Even after his stalkers had been destroyed, he was still able to utilize Dark Templar to get the most out of that army as he possibly could. He was sniping Overseers, he was doing all sorts of things that really made the most out of that army, but TLO just managed to scratch through there. His base is in complete shambles. It doesn't really get much closer than this. That was a great game.